Do Cheetos smell like pickleberries?
Hi, I'm JC. Welcome to the Forbidden Cities, a Keeper of the Lost Cities podcast. A podcast where Sydney and I talk about Keeper of the Lost Cities books, theories, characters, ships, and more.
Hi!
Hi!
Welcome to episode 32 of the Forbidden Cities podcast.
Welcome.
Where Sydney's not had any sleep this week.
Yeah, Sydney's. I will get into it. Like, literally, I took an hour nap. I had 2 hours of sleep.
That's counting the nap, right?
No. Well, it just depends. I don't even remember. Somewhere between 2 and 3 hours of sleep, including the nap.
Okay, that's nice.
One fun thing is that we are actually together right now.
Yeah, physically in person together.
Yes, which hasn't happened in a while, I feel like. Or if it has,
yeah,
it was also a weird time. Because usually we're doing remote. Yeah.
Because you visited me. Well, that's when you had your camera stolen.
Oh, that's true.
That's the last time we recorded in person.
Record. You're right.
But I don't know. That was before the previous time.
It seems like not that long ago because it's not far in podcast time. But
yeah, that was
we
like probably
keep forgetting to and not having time to record.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Sydney, what has happened in your life?
Okay. Well, no, you first because yours is like an update.
I don't
know.
So
remember how last time we talked about, well, not last time, but a while ago we talked about how JC was engaged.
Yeah, it was like when we came back.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm married, so that's cool.
We're in not her house, but like
the house I'm living in for now. Yeah.
Which is crazy because we started this podcast at 16?
Yeah.
And now we're
in 2020 during COVID.
Yeah. And now we're in our 20s and married. And also, guess what, guys? I'm engaged now too.
Sydney's
engaged. This is fun.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So we were briefly engaged at the same time, which is really cute.
Yeah. And now Sydney gets to go through all of that stuff. So
yeah.
I literally, by the wedding week, I don't know if I've told you this, but I said it a lot. I was like, I'm never planning an event ever again for as long as I live. So, it's so fun, but like...
See, I'm still on the fun stage. So
yeah.
You're scaring me.
It might just stay fun.
I hope.
It might.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, so what do we have? We want to give some brief updates on our lives.
Let me pull up my outline. Okay, so Sydney, tell me about your life.
Okay, so quick rundown before we get into Unraveled. My life, and honestly the reason we haven't had time to record is, well, I am randomly transferring schools due to a very unexpected circumstance, and I won't tell you exactly all about that, but it, like I said, it was very unexpected, and I have been, well, I got engaged, started trying to plan a wedding, then all that kind of stuff went down, and now I'm in the middle of kind of moving, changing schools, changing a lot of things in life. So, yeah, that's my quick update. If I'm not on the Forbidden Cities podcast Instagram or anything like that, that is why. Yeah. And JC and I were just talking about, we would love for it to get to a point where in a few years both of our lives have calmed down and we can record regularly. But for now, this is what you get. I hope you enjoy it.
Sorry about this.
Yeah. But we're trying. Yeah. We're trying. We are hanging on to this podcast.
Yeah.
With how do you say that? Like,
I know
everything.
Yeah. We're not gonna stop posting altogether.
No.
But it's just not super regular right now with all of the life stuff happening.
But we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
And for now, for the next couple of months at least, we are pretty like close to each other. Closest we've been in years, like physically speaking, so that's nice.
And
we don't have to travel super far.
We have the most privacy and like
not being with our families.
Yeah,
because we both. I mean, as you know from the episodes with our siblings, we both have a lot of siblings. I especially, so my house is loud. But it's nice to have quiet space.
Yep. Oh, we should turn the fan off for audio.
Yeah, it might be a little bit weird. If we get warm, we can open the door. Anyways. Is there anything else that you want to say? All
I was going to say is, that I'm extremely tired, but it's okay, we're here.
Yes, and
I've been, painting for a painting competition. Yeah. I just started a new job where I'm working as a barista, so I'm getting
the most fun job.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
I really like it. And also the caffeine. And the little cute drinks.
Unlimited caffeine, It's so great.
Yeah, so I've been doing okay, but it's I don't know how I'm awake because I literally got up. You don't want to know how. You don't want to know. Anyway.
You've continuously had 2 hours of sleep a night the entire week.
Yeah.
And you said it, like, hasn't
and then
hit you.
Yep, and then a couple days I was getting up. I had to be at work at 5:30, and I had to leave the house at 5, so I was getting up at 4:30. And then I've been staying up painting because I have 2 competition deadlines this weekend.
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying my best, but I'm here. I'm here.
And you're also, like, during the school year, you're so busy. Like, your major is so intense. Like, there's so much work that goes into it.
And it's probably only going to get worse. But it's okay.
So, wait, how many years have you done already?
Okay, I have 2 years down, but I took a gap year.
Okay.
So I have 2 more years. Yeah. Yeah. But it feels like these 2 years felt like they went by so fast just because I am so busy.
Yeah.
So
you have a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, JC, any other updates before we get into the podcast?
Not a lot about me. This is just funny. I finally convinced my now husband, which is weird to say, to read Keeper. So he had the very fun experience of he'll sit and read on the Kindle, and I posted about this on the meme account, like him reading it on the beach in Cancun because that's where he went for our honeymoon. But literally, like, he'll read it on the couch and I'll be like reading over his shoulder, which is like the most annoying thing. But it was because he finally got to one of the most iconic scenes, the where the Kenrick and Orly and Bronte, depending on what you say. I say it both ways now. But anyways, we're there testing Sophie, and I'm, like, actively squealing. I'm like, you finally got to meet Kenrick! And he's like, I'm not gonna read this anymore. Okay.
Yeah. I'll mention, so my now fiance, which is fun, he's on Exile now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
did
wow.
I not mention that earlier?
I didn't know he finished the first one.
Yeah, he finished, so he's, like I said last time, he's just at work listening to Keeper, which is so funny. But yeah, he finished the first book, and he's on Exile, and I didn't even have to ask him. He was just like, I'm a few books, or a few chapters into Exile. I was like, yes!
That's
yes,
awesome!
Yes!
Okay,
so
okay, what was I gonna say? Does he know any spoilers?
No.
Okay, so
he knows
going
nothing.
In oh,
yeah.
That's so interesting.
Sure.
See, okay, I'm fine with saying his name. So Brooks, it's my husband. He's the opposite. He knows everything that happens in the series. I can keep my mouth shut. And then I'm also writing a fan fiction, which if you guys are following me on Instagram, you know. If not, go look on the Instagram.
I've been... Just so you guys know how busy I've been, I haven't even read JC's
She
fanfiction.
has not had time.
So I think we're gonna do an episode where I like read the fanfiction and then interview JC about it because it sounds cool.
So
she just
fun
told me
and
about
terrifying.
It. But anyway,
I told her about the premise of it, which if you're interested, you can go find it. I don't know. Maybe I'll put the thing in link in the description or something. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyways, but here's the thing. Brooks reads the fan fiction as it comes out.
Oh yeah.
So he knows and he doesn't.
So he knows everything about those specific characters, but nobody else really.
Basically, he knows like the vague outline of the plot, because I talk about it all the time, and he knows almost everything about those characters, but he doesn't know what stuff is canon and what stuff I've made up.
Oh,
so sometimes he'll be like, yeah, because this character does this, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
I made that up. Actually, I decided that.
That's really funny.
So I'd be like. I don't want to say anything from the fanfiction, but anyways, it's really funny because...
Yeah, no, my fiance is going in blind. And we think it would be really fun eventually to have them both be on the podcast and do a reaction.
Okay, because Brooks was actually saying, like, I would be on the podcast. And I was like, okay.
I don't know how it would go, but
I don't even know
funny.
what topic we could do, but it'd be really funny.
We have to... We'll talk about it off the podcast. But we want to do that at some point, so
like
you have
what
that to
characters
look forward to.
They like or something.
We're not leaving. We're gonna be in our 50s with our husbands.
Bring our kids and our husbands on.
Like, so little Jimmy, do your thing.
The series will still be going. It'll be book like 10.11275.
Yes.
Lynn's POV of one section of book 5.
Yep.
Like, let's all talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. And then this was random, but I think in like the previous episode or sometime recently, I was like, I think I'm an ENTJ.
And I was like,
okay,
sure,
whatever you say. But yeah, I think that was just like a stage of my life I was going through where I felt very comfortable and extroverted and stuff. But I'm pretty sure I'm just an INFJ and just like questioning myself. So, anyways,
just
never
forget about that. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's fine.
Don't worry about
Move on,
sweetie. We're back to this. Anyways.
So
back to Keeper, I think. Is that everything we wanted to say?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Which
cool.
feels crazy. Like, we actually can just jump in after only a couple minutes.
Yeah. I don't even know how long we've been recording.
I will say, too, so jumping into Unraveled, I listened to a lot of it on, like, super fast speed this week while I was doing other things. So I've kind of refreshed, but I do not remember most of what I wrote in, like, the notes I put down in the book. So we're going to see the notes I put down when I first read it, plus my second reading thoughts, which will be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Then you kind of skimmed, right?
Yeah, I skimmed a good bit of it. I randomly read, like, the ending, which wasn't productive of me, but I did do that. And I listened to a couple of chapters, but I didn't get to all of it, so.
Yeah.
But I do have my original read-through notes, so I'm going to be
feel like
reacting to those.
You do better with just, like, jumping in, because you're thinking about Keeper. So
yeah, that's the other thing, is I've had a little bit more time to be, like, immersed in Keeper, especially with the fan fiction.
I miss it. I need to be immersed.
So you're coming back now.
Yes.
But, yeah, so that's kind of my... Although this is so different from the other Keeper books.
For sure. So if you're following along, we're starting on chapter 8. If we re-say things we already say, we apologize. It's been a while. We didn't mean for it to be a while, but JC had to get married, I had to get engaged, and then, like, all the other things. So, here we are.
Had to get married.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing, though. For the people who have been listening, because I feel like we don't have a lot of new listeners because we're not actively releasing, so, like, it's been just as long for them as it has for us. So, I mean, I could be making this up, like... They haven't listened since December either. Yeah.
That's true, true.
I don't know. If you're listening to this in, like, 2028 and it's back-to-back with the other thing, then this doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay.
So what's your first, like, thought in chapter 8?
Okay, so my first note I have here, I will say I don't have notes for anything I listened to this week. We'll just see what I come across.
Yeah.
Is literally, like, the third sentence. I put a note on... and then he'd woken up starving, so of course he needed to devour the entire bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and then needed to run around flailing until his mouth wasn't in fiery inferno of doom. And my note says, I said he's so 15.
Yeah. Okay, that was, like, especially, and I this is the only time I'm gonna, like, talk about this in depth, but, like, rereading this interspersed with, like, the way that I've been jumping around the series and really focusing on the adults and then writing the fan fiction for a very, like, it is so much, like, a different voice. Like, the Sophie POV is different than this, but then also just, like, the council versus then we go to Keith. It is
Keith eating Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
And flailing around and, like, just the tone of it, I was like, whoa. Like, he is very 15. Yeah. And it's like voice shift, like a total voice shift.
Totally, yeah. By the way, I was just re-listening to our podcast episodes. Do you still think hot Cheetos taste like feet? I mean, smell like feet.
Wait, didn't
you
say
I
that?
said they smell like feet. That's right. And do you still think they don't?
I don't know. I've just never I've honestly, I don't think I've ever had hot Cheetos.
You know what we didn't say that we said we were gonna say?
Uh-oh.
Sorry, my brain jumped to we should do a hot Cheeto reaction video, and then I. Do they smell like feet?
Mr. Forkle smells like feet. Wait, did Keith say they smelled like feet?
Yes.
Does he think the Cheetos smell like huckleberries?
I guess he does.
Wait.
Because he says hot Cheetos smell like feet.
But we know that huckleberries smell like feet.
Then Forkle smells like hot Cheetos. No, please tell me. We need a Keith point of view the next time he sees Mr. Forkle.
He's like, you know what you smell like?
Why did I not get
But Forkle lived in the human world, so I feel like he's gonna know what Cheetos are, and then, like, Fitz is gonna be like, what the heck did I miss?
I didn't even connect that, like, the Cheetos and the feet. That's so stupid.
It's so specific.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know.
What did we need to say that we didn't say?
Our thing about face reveals.
Oh, yeah. You say it.
Okay. So we decided, we've been wanting to do, like, a face reveal for a while, but we don't want to do it without, like, giving you guys a challenge.
Yeah.
So our challenge is, if you can get us to 2,000 Spotify followers, then we will reveal our faces. I will tell you, we're almost to 1,200, so that's just 800 more. And we want it to be enough that it's like a challenge and would significantly help the podcast. Please don't just like, I mean, this would be nice, but don't just go on your parents' phone and follow us and then have them never, like, never listen, because that'll probably hurt our numbers rather than help.
Yeah.
But, if you guys can get us to 800, which I know is, like, a huge...
800 more. Yeah.
Yeah, 800 more. I know that's, like, a big thing, but we want it to be a challenge. So, anyway, we'll talk about this more later on. But,
and it's, like, opportunities for keeper content while we're waiting for the books. So... I know that, like, it always does surge whenever a new book comes out, but, like, right now in between, like, I feel like it's almost more fun to listen to it whenever you're waiting for a new book, because it's like, at least it's, I'm hearing about it somewhere.
Yep. And, also another quick side thing, if you want to email us something and you don't know what, email us fun episode ideas.
Yes.
Because we're going to keep doing the Stellar Loon and Unraveled, but we want to have some to, like, sprinkle in. So email us those. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, back to the series. That was my first note.
Yeah, I also highlighted that. His whole voice in this multiple times.
Yeah.
I reacted out loud whenever I was listening to this part, like, yesterday. Oh my goodness, 2 days ago.
You know what we can do? We can, like, kind of look and see whose is when. Okay, yours is first. This time, instead of being separate, we can, like, see.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah. So, the thing where it says... something about, like, he wanted to run around and plug his ears, which wouldn't even work because, that's not how emotions work. And he says, yeah, but I'm a master at ignoring them. He reminded the birds hopping along the nearby branches. The fact that he could spend time around Fitzvee without barfing or punching something totally proved it. And I had two thoughts about that. First of all, whenever, because I was listening to this, so when the narrator said that part, I was like, that's so true. Yeah. But also, because, like, we talked about that. We talked about when we were reading, I think when we were doing the Unlocked episode or something, or no, it must have even been flashback, but we mentioned, like, how is Keith just sitting there taking this?
Yeah.
And Rose like, you want to say anything? He's like, nope.
Uh-huh.
Like, how are you just sitting down? So that's true, but also I think it's really interesting that already here we're getting little hints of, like, hey, Keith's really good at numbing out. He's really good at ignoring his emotions. Which brings me, do you want me to go ahead and drop the thing I wanted to say about Keith?
There might be a better... I guess go ahead and drop it. I think...
because I can point back to it later.
Yeah,
okay. Basically, so Sydney, remember whenever Flashback came out and Fitzvee happened? And you posted a thing like, hey guys, the series isn't over. Don't celebrate yet.
Yeah. We talked about this.
Okay, I don't know.
We did, but go
ahead.
ahead.
May have said this. I basically have been having, especially whenever we read 9.5, and I'll explain, but I've been having the same feeling about Keith and Sophie, where it's like, hey guys, don't celebrate yet. We got at least one more book, if not more.
Okay, I think we talked about this in the last episode we did.
Really?
Yes.
What did I say?
You said, we both talked about the Keith dying theory a little bit briefly, and then we talked about him numbing out and how he changes, or how we think he's going to change.
It reminds us of
I
the
might
Hunger
be crossing
Games.
Episodes, but yes, it reminds us of the Hunger Games. And then, so we both agreed that something is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I argued with you a little bit, and I was like, but I think they'll be fine. And you were like, I don't know. And I was like, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah,
So I still feel that way. Okay.
I didn't know if I had said that before. That makes...
Yeah. I think the conclusion we came to is, like, Keith is going to go through something.
Yeah.
That is going to cause relational tension.
Yeah.
Between him and Sophie. And it is that same feeling, like, okay, we're there, but are we quite there yet? But then I was saying, too, of course, I was saying, like,
You think they'll be together in the end?
I think they'll be together in the end, and I'm kind of excited to see them go through some relational tension, because it will
It'd be boring if they're just...
Yeah, and it'll be good for them. Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, not good for us. It'll be painful for us. But yeah.
Is that going to be funny for me?
But we're going to come to something in a little bit that's going to reflect back on this.
Okay.
Too. Like the numbing thing.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
Yep.
I might have more to say about that as we read things. The next thing I have is on 72. A level of awareness that fell somewhere between wandering around and talking to an imaginary Sophie and feeling all the things ever. I think it's so funny that he's self-aware that he's wandering around and talking to an imaginary Sophie.
Yeah,
like, he knows that he's being insane.
Yeah.
The music thing. Do you have a note about that?
I do have a note about that. Let me see what my note is. Oh, it says no, what? Where's the note? Oh, okay. The music thing. We might have highlighted the same thing. I said he could try singing the screechy siren songs he's heard in detention, but that would probably get him tackled. And my note was just the NE is the NEing.
Oh yeah, it's
totally.
so. I have never been more sure that Keith is like NE over SE than reading this book. So random.
And
No, I just
the part right after that. Oh, what if all we have to do is he paused to see if his brain would finish the sentence? Oh, I really thought that might work. That caught me so off guard in the audio because the audio just goes, "Oh, what if all we have to do is," and then
there's a long pause.
waiting to see if that would work. I mean, good thought. I guess.
Audiobook narrator, he's so good for this. Actually, I did think it was hilariously like it was really well done. Mm-hmm. The guy was actually trying, like he cared.
Yeah, except for that thing I sent you. There's like this one specific. Can I play it?
Yeah, please.
Let me find it.
It was really weird to hear the Keeper books read through a male voice though.
Yes,
after
I agree.
Like the girl's voice for everything. Did he do Keith's part of Unlocked? Do we know?
Keith's part of Unlocked. I don't know.
Oh, I'm gonna pour water for a second.
I don't know. Okay, so this next part, I sent JC this, and I think I said like, why does this is if you're not online, this is gonna sound so chronically online, but it sounds like the like Discord mod picking voice, and it's like, why does he sound like that?
Always helped. And that's enough of that, he said, setting the paints and brushes aside. This might be the last night I get to sleep in a bed for a while. I'm not going to waste it.
I'm not
But as soon as he lay down again, his brain went back to spinning.
It's so accurate. And
it's like why? I can't even mimic it correctly. It's the like slight whine and the long word.
Please tell me you guys know what I'm talking about. Rewind it. Tell me that does not sound like the specific like. Actually, I can't even do it either. But I heard that and I was like, I just cringed. I was like, oh. Yeah. And then also today.
No.
Okay, this is gonna be in super fast speed, but I screen recorded this on the way here because I was driving and I couldn't just send it to you. Mm-hmm. But in this part right here, Keith says this one sentence in a weird British accent, and I was like, why did he say it like that? Hold on. If it'll turn up. No, it didn't record it. Man, I'm gonna have to find it. Anyway, there's this one part where it's like, we'll come across it in here, but he says something like, something about something saucy. And I was like, why does he say that? The narrator literally stops and says it in like a weird voice. And I was like, and it's like a British voice, but weird.
That's so interesting.
I know, right?
What?
I gotta find it. But
that had to be like an author
things.
note on there. Like
either an author note. I don't even know.
One thing that I realized like recently because of when Brooks was reading book 1 is that like Stellar Loon or Unraveled, it's not written in 2025. Like Keith walking around, it's not 2025 in the Forbidden Cities because book 1 is set in like 2012 or something. And we realized this because Sophie's mom, when she's calling the principal, the phone, she puts it down on a receiver when she gets off the phone with like the principal from Sophie's school. So like it's not an iPhone, and Sophie's on her iPod in the beginning. It's not an iPod Touch, it's an iPod.
That's true.
So that sets book 1 in like 2010, and Sophie's like 12 plus 9 months or something, like by the Elven way of counting. And then by Stellar Loon, she says that she's like 16. So it's 4 years. So it's only like 17 or 18 when Keith is in the Forbidden Cities.
I wonder. Wait, no.
It's pre-COVID. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I'm thinking of the Taylor Swift lyric. So Shannon's not keeping track.
Wait, did those come from after?
I believe so. Yeah. Really? Wait, let me find out when that was.
Do you know which song it is?
I do know which song it is. Yeah.
Oh, Shannon's not doing her research. There's one other really big inconsistency that I found, unless one specific theory is true.
There are a couple little ones I noticed. Yeah, no, this song's from 2022.
Shannon!
What are you doing? Okay, maybe Sophie just has an iPod.
Yeah,
maybe they just have a receiver.
That's what we're gonna have to go with.
Yeah, is that the only like dated thing in the series? Is the Taylor Swift song?
Let me think.
She references Batman and Lord of the Rings, but those are timeless.
Those are old. Yeah.
I wonder if that's like gonna be really funny. That one lyric is like the one thing that grounds.
Like,
yeah. It just grounds.
We date everything around this. Like, 9.5 has to be after 2022.
Yep.
No, because no. Here's why. Book 1 has to be before COVID, because that's a big event in real life. So book 1 has to be pre-2019.
Yeah, but it's an alternate universe. Wait. The LA wildfires?
Yeah.
What if the LA wildfires are the recent wildfires?
Like the ones now?
Yeah, the ones now. There
it's in the future. The whole
she's
thing's like 2024.
Yeah.
Sophie's on an iPod. Those don't exist anymore, but like Sophie specifically has one.
Yeah, Sophie's vintage.
Oh my goodness.
Her vintage little...
Yeah, vintage iPod Touch. But then no one bats an eye at her corded earbuds, even though they're like everyone else would be using AirPods. Doesn't like Gethin have like corded earbuds too though? When he tries to snatch her?
Yeah.
Because he's being a jogger.
Listen, she's not thinking about it. This is an alternate universe.
Do you want to know big thing? I'll tell you the really short version, but like one other big thing that's either inconsistent or means something big.
Okay. Oh no.
I here proceed to spend 4 minutes explaining a mini episode called Missing Memories. So if you're interested in this big thing, it is a big thing, but go to our YouTube channel and look for the mini episode called Missing Memories.
I'll talk about that later. There was something else related to that, but like...
Okay, what were we talking about?
We were talking about music and
what did you just think of?
Taylor Swift. The way that the council caught Prentice, they say this in book 6, is inconsistencies in his registry pendant.
Mm-hmm.
And so Avery, one of our listeners, said, well, I was like, well, why don't they just catch all of the Black Swan? Because, like, of inconsistencies in the registry pendant. And she realized the only thing different about Prentice is that he had been to Hushwood probably multiple times, and that Kenrick would have been the one to reroute his registry pendant and to be, like, changing it in ways that the council would accidentally notice. And so it's probably his fault that Prentice got arrested.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you could also just write it off as, like, well, when did Tinker join? Could someone be, like, messing with the registry pendant?
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah, if that's the alternative explanation.
Or they could have caught it after Prentice gets caught. Like, the Black Swan catches it and then says, like, okay,
like,
we
everyone
gotta
else,
be careful.
we gotta start fixing this. Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's an alternative explanation, but, like...
But you like yours better.
Yeah, well, I like... It's not my theory, that's I think it was Avery who said that, because she was like, it's the only thing different between him and the rest of Black Swan. But there's also a bigger theory I want to share, but that's not for this episode. That could be a separate theory.
Okay.
What I was going to say about music, though. So, on page 72 here, or 73, it's talking about how, like, there's basically no music in the Lost Cities. That's like, such a specific, like, world-building thing. So weird.
Totally.
Like...
Yeah.
To think also, like, they live forever. Like, but to not, like, specifically music and art... To have, like, almost like a... Yeah. We don't do that here.
It's like, so weird.
Why do we not appreciate art? There's no theater.
Uh-huh.
There's not really any, like, fictional books.
Like, sparkly skies, but, like...
But, like, no, like, art. Like, painting, like, Lord Cassius. And I have an interesting take on his... Because we'll get there, yeah. But, like, the music, the art, there's no theater, there's no, like... fictional book series that are big. Like, Sophie talks about Harry Potter, and the elves are like, what are you talking about? There's no movies. There's no movies. Like, complete absence of that.
Like, what?
No storytelling, nothing.
She has her little iPod, which she listens to music, but, like...
Because there's nothing else there.
Yeah, there's nothing. That's so weird.
And, like...
You know what else is weird, too? In typical, like, folklore, elves are musical. Like Lord of the Rings elves and other... Like, they talk about, like, elf... You know, if you...
Yeah, elven music,
you know what I'm
and stuff.
It's like elves and fairies are always usually, like, fae connected, that sort of thing. And then they travel and they songs
Yeah.
that lure you in the woods and things like that. Like, usually in folklore
With, like, the
and in
mythical.
pop culture, usually they're musical.
Yeah, so it's
So it's so
really
strange.
specific to be like no art in this for creatures who live forever. Like
Yeah.
no art.
I wonder if
get
there
bored.
used to be. Oh, there's like the statue in Atlantis.
That's true.
Um,
There's also now a statue in Eternalia of Kenrick.
that's true. So they have memorial statues. There's like
The Wonderlings,
the
I guess.
mirror hall, but that's like
Yeah,
not.
that's more
not really-
science.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Okay, that's weird. Because who's
I mean,
making
there's, like,
statues if
pretty
we're like
jewelry.
if we're being so, that's true.
Uh-huh.
But like if they're being so like artists don't like there's no value to art. But who's carving the statues? The dwarves?
Probably the people.
Well, the
in what's it
dwarves do
called?
music too.
Mysterium. We that's another thing. We've talked about this before. We haven't really even touched Mysterium.
Okay.
Sophie's never really been to
Yes.
Mysterium. I mean, she might have dropped
like
in.
slurps
but
and burps is a
Yeah.
Mysterium. But I have so many questions about Mysterium
Me
because
too.
when it's described, it's like there's like carts of like street food almost, and it's like this, but like all the buildings are identical. Like, what are the businesses there? Like, what do elves do? Because there's apparently tons of shops and like there's like bracelets and jewelry.
We completely ignore Mysterium, and we've talked about this before. But like we completely ignore it.
Yeah.
It's like the Lost Cities is just lords and ladies, and then you remember like, oh no, there's actually
Like, there's
other
like a
elves.
whole like not nobility side.
Yeah.
Which is
So
interesting. Well, I think it's obviously it's intentional too. It's like showing like how the bad matches and the talentless are like there's a huge like part of the Lost Cities.
Yeah.
We don't even know if that's the majority of the Lost Cities. Like it could be, and we're acting like it's like the corner over there where the dregs of society are. But like imagine it's most of it.
Yeah. Syra made not pendants. Hairpins.
Starstones. Oh yeah.
Right in Mysterium.
Yeah. Hairpins.
So
one of them was a starstone.
Maybe there's art and stuff there.
In
I didn't
Mysterium.
know. And they're just snobby about it. Who knows?
Oh, that would be so. Wait, that would make so much sense too with Cassius being like, you can't be an artist, that'd be Mysterium and non-noble.
Yeah.
Wait, Sydney, that might be it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. And
But
it's
then-
really interesting how, like, that could be a Mysterium thing. What if it's, like, a lower class thing, and it's, like, what's the word? It's subtly, like, oh, that's not what the noble people do.
Interesting.
That is really interesting.
I would love to know.
Yeah. And, like, that's what the talent, like, because you don't have this, like, special ability that allows you to read minds, but, like, maybe they're musically talented or something like that.
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's so interesting,
That's
though.
2 for me. Back to what we know. Back to what I can
But,
think of.
okay, yeah. Oh, that's... I'm very interested in Mysterium.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because... Oh, no, that's off topic. Back to this.
My next note is like right after this.
Is it him falling in his face?
No, wait. No, it's right before that, I think.
Okay.
Well, I wrote, this is so real, too. But all he could think was, pebble in my shoe. Pebble in my shoe. Pebble in my shoe. Pebble in my... Wait. I was like, that's so real. Like,
yeah, being distracted by, like, the physical...
Pebble in my shoe. Pebble in my shoe. Gotta get it. I was like, that's so real. Okay, what did you say?
It's right before, it's where he's, saying
yeah.
that he can't think about, like, he's trying not to crash into trees, and then he trips over a fallen branch and falls on his face. And my note said, I did not realize he was so clumsy. Their kids have no chance.
You're so right.
Jump to their children.
When he's talking to a bird.
He talks to birds a lot.
He talks to, birds and just animals in general. Himself, fake Sophie.
Which is
just
interesting.
talking.
Okay, so the animal thing, this is a little bit random too. But,
Okay.
You know, like certain polyglots can talk to animals.
Oh.
Oh, Claret can talk to
yeah,
animals.
that's
Yeah.
true.
So, like,
That'd be
what
cool.
if Keith could? Because he's, like, a super powerful polyglot now, like, a special one.
I would love that.
I don't know. I think that'd be so interesting, too. Yeah.
That'd be so cool. We need to just, like, Shannon. Use
Yeah.
our idea. Come on. Come take them.
I have a really good idea, Shannon. No. I'll pay you. Back to the book. I don't have another thing until page 76.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Really? Oh, okay. So, it's whenever Keith... Okay, so he does the pebble
where are
in
we
a
now?
shoe.
Okay, yeah.
This is page 76, so right in the beginning of chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
the pebble into the pebble shoe. And, like, he's intentionally stepping on a pebble, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna definitely get a blister. And then he, like, keeps doing it.
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
talked about this,
hey, bestie.
too, in our overview a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is not...
That's a little bit... That's
No.
not good.
No.
That's not right.
We're not...
You're
no.
hurting yourself. This is a little...
This is the bad cookie.
This is... Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, Shannon, because it's a kid's book, like, she doesn't go super far into it, but, like, it's, like, showing, I guess, like, how he's hurting himself to cope with this.
Yeah. Yep. And then they address it a little more later on, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm fuzzy on the
I'm
second half
fuzzy
of the
too,
book.
but I remember thinking that.
Yeah, and being like, wow, this is like kind of getting.
Yeah.
It's It's very deep for a children's book.
Yep.
Which sometimes it does do that.
For sure. Yeah.
Like it reminds me of in Everblaze when Sophie gets the ability restrictor, and then she just like she's clearly very depressed because of it, and she's sleeping for like days and won't get out of bed and won't and every time she wakes up she asks for another sedative, and they're like, you usually hate sedatives, like this isn't right. It just reminds me of that, of like, I don't know, Shannon can't go super like dark with it. I mean, it is a kid's book, but it does.
Well,
it's very realistic.
What book is it that with the shadow? Oh my goodness, the desert flashback. Yeah, like that was dark.
It was really dark.
That was dark.
The ending of that book was like scary too. Yeah. But yeah, it was very like, I don't know. It was like deep almost, like.
Yep.
Yeah. The echoes. That's what it was. Echoes.
Yep. What's your next one?
I don't think I have anything else for a little bit.
Okay.
Like page 70. Okay, yeah, I'm after that.
Okay. I think I just thought this was funny. Let me open my note. Yeah, I just wrote LOL. Won't happen. There's a pebble in your shoe, he reminded himself. I just thought that was really funny. He's like,
talking to himself in second person.
No, it's okay. There's a pebble in your shoe. You're gonna be fine. There's a pebble in your shoe. Like, it's okay. What
oh my
happens?
goodness.
Some of these things just crack me up.
Yeah. He's talking to himself.
Yeah.
So much. It's so funny. My note is, there was food. He could smell it, and it smelled sort of good. It was hard to tell because the drizzle-soaked street had a dirty, musty odor, and the ocean air was much more pungent than he was used to, like rotting seaweed mixed with fish poop. And then he realizes it's dead fish, and is like, ooh. Yeah. Oh, the human girl.
Yeah.
Do you have a note about her?
No, I don't necessarily.
I thought it was really interesting that Ro would have wanted to be her best friend.
Yeah.
And I think that the random mention of Ro is yet more evidence Ro's dead.
Yeah, you said this in our
Rest
last
in
one
peace.
too.
Yeah.
I just listened to it, but yep.
Every time he brings her up randomly, I'm gonna be like, Ro's dead. Because the last character we did this with was Kenrick. We bring him up like Sophie all the time. She's like, Kenrick would have left this. I'm like, that's what Shannon does.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything specific about her.
Except,
I guess this is the first human he actually interacts with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she is.
And then I, appreciated, in case I ever go to Seattle, I appreciate the travel guide here.
Literally, I commented on that. I said, she's so real. I like her.
Yeah. And then that, salmon chatter, that sounds great. I love salmon.
It does sound good. I love salmon, too.
Yeah. I'm skipping, but yeah. And then I have a note about mac and cheese. What about you?
Oh, I have one right before that. Well, I thought this was, okay, up above that, it says, what's a vegan? He had a feeling that asking what's a vegan would make him sound super clueless, so he went with vegetarian, hoping it meant what he thought it meant. And I think it's really funny that he has, first of all, no concept of what a vegan is, and then second of all, it's interesting, elves do eat cheese. He knows what cheese is. He's like, I don't know what mac is, but I love gooey cheese. So elves eat animal products. I guess they would eat cheese or eggs, but not meat.
Does that make him...
He's vegetarian. He's good with cheese. He eats cheese.
Is that how that works? Is vegan
Vegan is you don't eat any animal products, which is why he doesn't know what it is. But he just doesn't eat, meat, but he'll eat cheese.
Okay, yeah.
Which is interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. I don't know.
They have all those baked goods, but I guess you could argue, before this, you could have said, it's with their other...
Well, in the first book, Sophie's she's like, oh, this tastes like chicken. Whenever she's sitting at the, with the
so they could have something that tastes like cheese.
Yeah.
But no, he knows what cheese is.
Well, yeah, exactly. And he's totally cool with eating it. He's like, oh yeah, I love gooey cheese. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't know what veganism is. But, like, Sophie's like, I take it elves are vegetarian, whenever Fitz is, like, horrified with her, and everyone's like, yeah. So they all know what vegetarian is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But not vegan.
But it's so weird that they don't know what vegan is.
I wonder if Shannon, like, she's just typing it out. She's like, wait, he doesn't know what that is, but he knows what that
is. Sure, we'll go with it. Yeah. And then he verified the direction and headed that way, which might have been the best decision he'd ever made. Well, second best, after being president of the Foster Fan Club. So random. Yeah. So sappy of him to randomly be like, well, but my favorite thing I've ever done is be Sophie's best friend.
In his head, he's like, yay, this is great. I, like, just sitting there.
It's the best thing
mac and
ever.
cheese is the best thing ever. And
except
no,
Sophie.
Actually second.
It's so funny. Especially because at this point, like, what? He's, like, to him, she's still with Fitz? Like, does he even know that her and Fitz are no longer a thing?
Yes, he does. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
he does.
Oh, right. That happens, like, midway through Legacy. Yes, because the stairs, when they're sitting at the bottom of this, that's what that picture is. Yep. Okay, we're good. Okay.
Yep. I'm picturing, Chick-fil-A mac and cheese, by the way.
Oh.
I'm sure that's not where he is, but that's what I'm picturing, and it's making me hungry. It's making me hungry.
I don't think he ever goes to, like, named restaurant in this, does he? He just eats foods.
Oh, there might be.
Does he?
I'm not sure. We'll find out. We'll keep going and look for it. Yep. The pebble in the shoe is just so funny. It's, like, so sad and also just a funny phrase to me. Okay.
One thing that I do that I forgot that I did is I, like, researched most. I don't want to say all just in case I missed some, but, like, as I was reading it, I researched most of the places that are mentioned and tried to find what city it was, so I've done my best to...
You are doing the most, like, oh my goodness, JC.
This is when I first read it. I don't remember.
What's funny is I want to say, like, when do you have the free time? But I also know you don't have free time. So this just doesn't compute for me. You send me reels on Instagram. I know you have time to scroll your phone. Yeah. You work. Like, what?
I have a fan fiction.
What?
Wait,
yeah, you have a fan fiction.
It's, like, with really specific characters that I've done too much.
You sound like the unemployed friend, but you're employed. Like,
I don't know how to answer that question.
Anyway. My next note is at the beginning of chapter 10. Not quite beginning, but.
Mm-hmm. Mine is just a little bit in. It's, the tallest weird-shaped buildings with the Kaya toast thing. I'm pretty sure that's Singapore.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
And the statue is in Singapore, the half lion, half fish statue. According to Google, so,
Got it.
I've never been, but...
Oh, okay. Cool.
When's your first note?
It's, like, right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since his next leap brought him somewhere even less helpful, a ruin high in the mountains with nothing but fallen stones and a few curious llamas. You know what? I don't know why I wrote Everest. There's not a ruin high in the mountains without Mount
It's
Everest.
Munich.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what I was thinking there.
I thought about trying to guess, and I started Googling.
Imagine leaping to the top of Mount Everest where the air is
They're
like all
in
thin,
Everest.
and you're like...
The end of every
you're
place
right.
is set there.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Yeah. I don't know how they breathed. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
they're,
I
like,
think
enhanced.
they did have something to...
Yeah, I think there was some kind of thing.
But,
so before this, the only clothing shops he'd found were super fancy. This is page 84. And everything cost way more than the little bit of cash he had, and he didn't see anywhere he could try selling his mom's jewelry. Doesn't Sophie specifically in Stellarloon say, like, oh my goodness, I hope he doesn't try to walk around with valuables and get robbed, or walk into a pawn shop and get, like, shot? Because I'm imagining him walking around with these super expensive pearls, then just striding into a pawn shop and slamming them down on the counter.
Well, Cassius tells him, don't do that.
Literally instantly.
But
so,
you totally would have.
It's so, yes, because he's trying to sell the jewelry, which, like, is so naive of him, but it's because he grew up in the lost cities where there's not that kind of crime, and he doesn't know you can't just walk around, like, flashing $100 bills and not get, like, shot in the head. Like, imagine, I don't know.
And he's in cities.
I know.
He's in cities.
And I'm just, like, in my head, I'm just imagining him walking into somewhere, like, really, like, Venezuela or something really dangerous. I don't know if he goes there, but, like, and then just getting stalked into... Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. He's not in...
He leaps... What are you talking about?
He leaps... Oh, sorry, I
don't know if he goes somewhere super dangerous. I don't remember.
No, okay, sorry, no. I was like, wait, is Munich... I'm so sorry.
Germany.
I just totally zoned out. No, Munich isn't the same city. I think he leaps after that.
What do you mean?
After the ruin high in the mountains with the
The festival?
Stones. Yeah. I think that's a different place.
Oh, yeah, the festival I think is different.
Definitely not in the current city. Oh, no, it is. The same.
Yeah, no, you're right. In front
Just
of the bronze
kidding.
lion lady statue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, yeah, because the snuggle mouse thing is specifically like a phrase. Remember someone emailed us about that?
No, I understand that. That is
yeah.
in Munich. I was trying to find out if he leaped to Munich from the ruin high in the mountains.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it's the same place.
Yeah, okay, sorry. You're good. Some of this.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
What was I saying?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Fully.
Oh, I was saying, imagine, like, I'm just glad that he, like, I guess Cassius specifically cut this crystal so it wouldn't go anywhere, like, super dangerous.
Uh-huh.
Like, I was just imagining him going to, like, I don't know, like, the hood, or, like, Venezuela, or, like, somewhere really dangerous, and just taking out the necklace and being like, who wants to buy this? Like, he would be dead so fast. It would be so bad.
Yeah.
Like, Sophie was so right to be scared for him, because imagine he didn't get the, like, I don't want to say plot armor, but the plot armor of Cassius being like, here's an ID, here is money, don't get robbed. Like, imagine that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well,
he could totally die.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too, like, when I got to that part, I was like, what is the purpose of this? I guess the purpose of this is Shannon realizing Keith is too dumb.
Yeah. He's so naive because it's like the reverse of Sophie growing up in the Forbidden Cities and then going to the Elf Cities and being like, you guys don't have to lock your door. Like, it's not that specifically, but just the general thing of her being like, oh, well, someone could have been kidnapped. And, like, Fitz is like, no.
Yeah.
And then switching Keith going to to the Forbidden Cities and just being like, where can I sell jewelry? Really expensive as a 15-year-old.
Have you ever watched Outer Banks?
No.
There's essentially a plot that's like...
Really?
There's like
funny.
Teenagers and they go to a pawn shop with a bunch of gold.
Like,
and then they
call
get
the police.
They go with a bunch of gold and then they get pulled over and a guy's like, give me the gold as soon as they leave because
like,
they're gonna
obviously.
do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he had some plot armor.
Yeah. Okay, what's your next note?
Sounds like you might need to stay away from the tents for a little while.
Okay, I have some earlier than that.
Okay.
That was funny.
It was really... I was like, Shannon!
No, we have drug use. You're right.
We got drug use and keeper. Sorry.
Well, no, we definitely already had drug juice with the
flavored air?
Oh
my goodness, yes, the
Boobery guy.
That was so funny. That was so funny. Yeah. I forgot about that. What were your other...
It's a good thing Keith doesn't, like, I don't know. Things could have gone so wrong along that vein, too.
Someone could have been like, hey, here's some, this is good stuff. You're hungry, try this. And it's like cocaine.
Well, that's what he did with caffeine. He was just like,
yeah, he was like, oh, I'll just drink some of this.
Yeah.
Imagine someone handed him, like, a Celsius or something instead of a coffee. He would have had a heart attack.
Well, when we get there, we'll talk about this again when we get there. But like in the hotel, he tries caffeine and he's like, yeah, and then I was bouncing off the walls from that one flat white I had. I was like, oh my,
no caffeine in that.
Never had caffeine. And then he immediately gets caffeine addiction because he's like, well, gotta stay up. Coffee. Like, it's like relatable, Keith, truly.
Oh, he could have gone down the dark side with that.
Yeah.
What are your other notes before the tents?
I think it's before the tents. What is this? Hold on. Okay.
I love how he's
okay, this is just an LOL that's my note in Munich where it says, the only outfits he saw for sale were a bunch of embroidered shorts with suspenders attached, etc., etc. He doubted he could pull that off. Actually, no. He totally could. He would rock those shorts and knee socks like no one had ever rocked them before. And then he's like, but I need to stay focused. It's just the internal monologue is so opposite to Sophie, where he's just like, Yeah, that I could so wear that.
Anyways.
Okay, anyway. Yep. And
It's
then,
so different.
Yeah. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then, right after that, the Keith pointed to a cookie with the My Snuggle Mouse. my note here for my first read there is just like, what?
What the heck? Snuggle Mouse?
So, have we talked about the Snuggle Mouse
I don't
thing
know.
yet?
We did get an email about it. I don't know if we've said that.
Yeah.
It's a real phrase.
I want to say we talked about when I tried to have Claire find it for me, and she couldn't. Yeah. So, one of my friends speaks German. She tried to find out if it was, like, a real phrase. And I want to say, like, we had a hard time, but then we got an email. Mm-hmm. And, yeah,
someone
it's
who
like...
knows language.
Yeah.
It's a phrase.
It's a phrase, which explains the, like, My Snuggle Mouse.
Also, Shannon did her research.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. She
put a Taylor Swift lyric from 2022, so not enough research.
Yeah, which is funny. I, honestly, though, I would not have thought about that timeline at all. I would have just, in my head, just been like, okay, well, it's falling along
Here's a thing from the human world.
So, yeah, that's forgivable to me, because, honestly, I wouldn't have thought about it. But, this is an alternate universe where she releases that song
earlier. That's what we're gonna go with.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with.
But yeah, anyway, Snuggle Mouse cracks me up because in English it's just such a random combo. But I love it. I'm gonna embroider you something with Snuggle Mouse on it.
And everyone will be like, huh?
Yeah. We should make Snuggle Mouse cookies. That'd be funny.
What?
Well, it's cookie with a blue loopy border.
Oh my goodness.
We should do it.
It's so specific.
Yeah. Anyway. And then I have one under that, which I think is still before what you were talking about.
I think so.
And it's also just an LOL. You can fly? Please tell me it isn't, like, going on one of those boat things in the sky. Like, that's the context of the, like, you need to stay here from the tents. But I thought that was so funny.
It is
He's
so
like,
funny.
What? A
you
boat
can fly?
in the sky? Oh, no.
He would freak out if he flew. He would literally...
He'd probably get so sick,
He'd be crying. Yeah. Like, have you been on a plane before?
I have not.
Okay, I went for the first time recently. I was a little more scared than I thought I'd be. I'm not scared of, like, roller coasters, like, definitely not of boats, but I was a little freaked out whenever we were landing. I was I don't like how fast the ground is coming towards me.
Yeah, well, okay, I think about this all the time, and I know it makes sense, but, like, this is it's literally a hunk of metal.
Yeah.
Just
in the sky.
Just catapulting at high speeds.
Okay.
Through the sky.
I was so curious. Like, I pulled up my phone while we were, like, flying, and I pulled up Google Maps just because, you know, it tells you how fast you're going. It was, like, 350 miles per hour. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I took a screen video of it. It was so confused.
It's crazy. Well, because, like, if you think about it, I think about this all the time. Like, it makes sense to us. We're like, okay, yeah, a plane, because it's normal. But if you think about it, like, that is just something hanging. It's just hanging in the sky.
Yeah.
Just, like,
crazy.
That defies all...
Like, the laws of gravity.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it should.
It feels like it should.
Like,
you
I
look
understand,
up and it's just,
but, like,
going.
Especially from the ground, and it looks like it's barely moving.
Uh-huh.
Like...
It's just, like, that's crazy that we can fling... I mean, not fling. It's
but fling a metal object across the sky.
Safely.
Hundreds of people.
Safely
is
across an ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, relatively safe.
That's what freaks me out. There were 2 things that freaked me out the most, okay? 3 things. 3 things that freak me out the most. Number 1, across the ocean.
Uh-huh.
If we fall, we're in the middle of the ocean.
Number 2,
there's
across the land. If we fall...
Yes, number 2 is the land. But I was uncomfortable with how low the plane would get sometimes. Like, I was happy when we were high up in the sky, and I was like, okay, if we fall, we got a long time to figure this out. But then, whenever we started getting close to the airport, it was just like, do. And I'm like, we're about to touch the trees right now. I don't like that at all. That doesn't make sense. Number 3, planes just fly through clouds, like, completely blind. Now, I know that, like, we aren't really looking with our eyes. It's all the radar stuff. Radar can be faulty, and all I see right now is a solid cloud. Really? Sydney, I need you to know that I had to close the window when we flew through a cloud. I was like... I'm going to have to be sedated to do that. Because I want to travel so bad, but I think about planes, and I'm like, that is just a flinging... A metal something just... I thought that I was going to be like, oh, this is so fun. But really, the entire first, like, the takeoff, I was, like, holding on and, like...
Okay. My sister, I won't say her name, but, she just went on her first flight.
She's been on the podcast.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Kylie. She just went on her first flight. She went to England. Are you jealous, JC? Because I know that's, like, your favorite. Yeah. Anyway, she just went on her first flight, and my dad texted, and he was like, how was it? And we were all expecting to be like, it was so cool. And she literally was just like, yeah, you know what? It was fine. And we were like all four of my...
No other reactions,
nothing? What are you talking about? Like, Kylie with one of the miracles of human invention. Hey, it's fine.
It's fine.
What? Excuse me?
Like, what?
I'm so mad. Anyway. She also got to go to a bunch of ruins and stuff. I'm like, that's my dream. That's my dream. Anyway.
You gotta do it now. I feel like, I was gonna say, like, you gotta do it now. You gotta go to all the... But I feel like, for me, this is so random. I'll go fast. Basically, if I go, like, overseas or, like, to see things like that, like, I want that to be the only thing I'm doing. I don't want it to go, like, on, like, I don't know, some kind of retreat or, like, study abroad and then have to, like, sneak away from that. I mean, it's cool, but, like, I didn't really want to do studies abroad because I was like, if I spend all that money to go overseas, I want it to be a vacation. I don't want to be, like, working, you know?
That's why you should go to a school that has study abroad built in. Which is
Hey.
what I'm hoping. Anyway. Next, my next one is on page 88.
Yep, you go first. I'm on 90.
Okay. Okay, let me see what the note I have here is. Okay, I just put dead because this was funny to me. Where the old man says, and always listen to your wife, the man added with a wink. Or whoever calls you their snuggle mouse. And then he glanced back at the woman, and they exchanged such sweet, sappy smiles that Keith wasn't sure if he wanted to hug them or beg them to share all their other life lessons.
That is not the reaction I would have.
No. No, actually.
Hug them?
Whoever.
Never in my life have I watched an old couple exchange loving looks and been like, I would like to hug them now. I'm more like, oh, I'd like to leave the premises immediately.
That's true. Oh, well, Keith respects his elders. That's really cute. When they're not his parents, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's too hot in here.
Yeah, I was about to ask. But, like, even, like, when people just stare at each other, I'm like, even that one scene where Kenrick and Orly are staring at each other right before he dies, I'm like, there better be some kind of mental, like, what do you call it whenever the transmission? I'm like, he better have been transmitting, because if you're just staring at each other, I'm so uncomfortable right now. I'm so uncomfortable. Or if you're staring at me and everyone's watching, oh, no thanks.
This is funny because, like, at your wedding, you and Brooks just, like,
You were just standing there.
Looking at you
and so I was like looking at my dad at the wedding, and I kept like looking at my dad and looking at my dad and looking at my dad. And like I've heard him say in other wedding like rehearsals, like, look at each other, don't look at me, or telling the vows to each. I think he may have said that there too. It's fuzzy, but like oh my goodness, I can't make eye contact. There are so many people looking at me. Everyone stop looking at me. Look at each other. Look at your phones. Stop looking at me.
That's funny.
I'm so uncomfortable with it.
Anyways, done. It's all good. You made it.
Yeah, I was fine. I wasn't really thinking about it. But, like, this specifically, if I'm there and these old people are like, listen to your wife, I'd be like, okay. I'm leaving.
Yeah. I think it's also funny how we have, like, the stereotype of, like, the guy not wanting to ask for directions and, like, yeah, uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, that is funny.
That's why we get lost so often.
Funny.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is 91. What's yours?
Okay. Whenever Keith wanted to stop at the fantasy and adventure section and see if there were any elves on the covers of books, that would have been so funny. And it was like, but he was too excited to waste time. Now's the time you don't want to waste time, Keith? Come on. Pull out Lord of the Rings. Do it.
No, you know what? Wait. Oh, yeah. But then also, he sees Unlocked, right?
Does he?
Yeah.
What?
Crazy?
What?
I've got to highlight it right here. And if Keith hadn't been trying to stick to a budget, he totally would have grabbed one that showed a girl flying on an alicorn.
So pause.
Yeah, so this dates it, too. But anyway.
Hold on. You're telling me that in Shannon's universe, she has herself writing the actual history. And you're telling me while it's happening, actively, but with all of the surveillance that the council's doing, monitoring all of the human stuff, because they're doing that, by the way, and they discuss it. They don't figure out that some random human knows their everything they're doing and is publishing it.
What if Shannon is an elf? But yeah, there's still no way.
And publishing all of this to the humans?
Yep. There you
Publishing, pause, Kenrick's Forgotten Secrets to the humans, the ogres, and the never seen.
I hate to break it to you, but this is not real.
Shut up. In this, it is real. In this series, she made it real.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Imagine Keith picks it up and starts just reading his own dialogue, and he's like, how is this happening?
We were like 2 seconds from a time warp disaster right there. Like,
yes! Yes!
Unless, okay, it could be another girl flying on another alicorn, JC.
Sydney? I highlighted this too.
Like Sophia.
I highlighted this too and wrote unlocked with question marks. I just totally forgot that was like a thing. That is actually wild. What?
Yep. You know, we're just gonna...
No.
We're just gonna have to...
No, we're not, because listen, the entire first half of Unlocked, it's a detailed account of the world.
That's true.
Like, stuff like only the Black Swan, or like Elwyn's notes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because what if in this world the Keeper series isn't there, but Unlocked is?
Just that one, but...
Just Unlocked.
Or all
maybe
of the registry pendants.
Yeah, just the... I don't know. Anyway, just like
all
information on the stuff, yeah.
Can you imagine if you pick that up and open it and he's like, Rhaenyra has the most forgotten secrets. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, how do we explain to you knowing this stuff?
Okay, this is a rabbit hole. We're gonna just keep going, keep trucking on. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. Anyway.
The implications.
He gets handed my very first world atlas, and it's perfect. Is this a gift? The woman asked as she rang up the sale. Nope, it's for me. He could tell she was...
Why would he lie?
He could tell she was judging his taste in literature, but he didn't care.
It's wild.
Because there's something else in here where he's like, I should have lied about that. Oops. Anyway.
Well, it's whenever he's saying, like, how do I get to London from here? I think that's where he's like, oh, I probably shouldn't be asking questions about how to get to...
No, there's one time in here
Oh, another one.
Yeah, there's another. He's like, I should have lied. We'll see. Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's hilarious. Like, I just want to... This, honestly, we talked about this in another episode. This would be so funny in movie form.
So yeah,
like,
it's been really funny.
We're just watching Keith, like, I'm picturing, like, Home Alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was about to say, this movie specifically, it would be such a different movie than all the rest. Like, this would be so, like, Lodestar would be so intense. But then this movie would be, like, Home Alone. Like, almost like a sitcom almost. It's like, you see inside of Keith's head and you hear the voice, and then we cut to, like, a random human watching him from across the park walk around and talking to himself. And it's like, kids... This is why we don't do drugs.
Yep. I remember we talked about that in detail too.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. Like, I wish you could picture this. I'm so sorry. Yeah. It's so funny. But you're picturing it as a movie.
I'm seeing it as an idea. Yeah.
It'd be so great. You just see him like...
Shannon, hire us.
Yeah. The map on the cover. Decorated. Is this a gift? No, it's for me.
It's for me. And then he leaves, and then she turns to her coworker, and she's like,
"See that guy?" Yeah. My first world atlas. Okay. Anyway, I have one on page 95.
Oh, I'm 96. You're first.
Oh, okay. Okay. I said. Okay, this is where he says, what would Foster do? He needed to get that embroidered on a tunic or something. Because Foster always did the smart thing. And I said, yes, channel that NI, boy. Like, come on.
Come on, let's think.
Yep.
Use your brain.
Yep.
Mine is, please don't be there. Please don't be there, he mumbled, like going home. Not sure if he meant his father or Ro. Actually, he could handle the angry ogre princess. All he'd have to do was tell her about his little foster confession, and she'd be so busy making kissing noises that she'd forget she wanted to pummel him for running away. And I said, romanticizing her because she's dead. That's all I have.
Yeah. Probably. I'm gonna laugh.
The look of disbelief you gave me. I realized that's why I started laughing, because I said that and Sydney just gave me like a flat look for half a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, good. Yeah, if she's not dead, well, we're gonna sound really funny, but the chances of her dying
are high
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense.
It's the fact that she had a dramatic, like, closing speech the last time we saw her.
Yeah.
Where she ended with, Team Foster Keep is going to win.
Could something like that break Keith? Could Rose death? I don't know. I don't know if like, she would plan that. Be able to plan that, but I wonder if it
do you think it'd be her revenge on King Dimitar for, like, torturing her?
Maybe. Okay, note that. Mentally noting that.
Mm-hmm.
Discuss another point.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Anyway.
The next one I have is 97.
Okay.
The very last part of the chapter. Do you have anything before then?
Nope.
Keith screamed and clutched his chest as the lights flickered on. His father laughed from the doorway. I had a feeling you'd be back. This is the second time in the book he's, like, peed his pants because the lights turned on. He startles so easily. I would have so much fun with that if I was in this. Oh my goodness. I would be jump scared. He wouldn't be able to walk through a door.
He's just, like, a walking... I don't even know.
He's so chaotic.
Just funny.
Like, oh my goodness. I would take every opportunity to hide behind things and jump out at him. It would be so funny.
Thank you for listening to the Forbidden Cities podcast. Leave us a review and tell a friend about the podcast if you liked us. Email us with comments and episode suggestions at theforbiddencitiespodcast@gmail.com. And to follow us on Instagram, just search @Forbidden Cities Podcast.